This song is not DMCA. All right, everybody, join the Discord right now. Time for some viewer call-ins. Guys, thank you for all the follows. Thank you. My name's Rich. Welcome to the Allcraft after party. Yes, true. Do you plan on staying bald? No. Stop doing that. Dude, have you ever played Outlast?
No, I haven't.
You should play it on stream.
What is it?
It's basically like, it's kind of like Doki Doki Literature Club. You'll like it.
Oh, weeb shit.
No, I'm kidding. It's a horror game. I actually, at the very... Have you ever played a horror game?
Well, for me, both of those games are horror games.
Says BFA. There you go. Wow, you look good, dude.
I know.
I think it's the lighting today, too.
Mm-hmm.
It's working for you. Jeez.
I actually turned the light off.
Yeah,
I
dude.
should do that more.
No light.
I'm in my
looks
natural
better.
habitat.
Oh, you got... Wow, that's a good-looking donut, dude. All right, what should we do during the viewer call-ins?
What do you want to do?
We could farm mounts. We could go for Mythic Jana mount. We could, what do you guys want to do? Play Sea Shanty. Lol W. You can play Sea Shanty, by the way.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
It's a video game song. I've been listening to the 10-hour loop on every stream. I listen to it once per stream. You only have to listen to one song. Go to Goldshire. Dude, I'm actually... Will you play... If I make an RP quest for you, will you play it?
Maybe.
I've been working on an RP quest for you.
Okay.
I trialed it, trialed part of it out, and it actually went pretty well.
Okay.
I'm gonna make you a full RP quest. What time frame are you willing to dedicate to an RP quest? That
30 minutes.
I only get 30 minutes.
Maybe 35.
Give me an hour, dude. Give me an hour, and I'll change your life.
An hour?
Yeah.
That's a movie.
Yeah, it's gonna be a full movie, dude.
Oh my god. All right.
Not everyone will make it out alive, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working on an RP quest. I have a bunch of the NPCs ready, dude.
Okay.
Do you do RP quests on Moon? Do you do them on Moonguard?
I'll do them wherever you need me to.
Do you know who Shane Dawson is?
Mm-hmm.
I think you'll like one of the NPCs. His name is Shane Dogson. He did not come on his Spellhound.
Oh, great. Yeah. It's going to be a really, really good show. Really
Yeah,
good.
you'll like it. I'm working on it really hard. All right, I'm gonna, while we decide what we're gonna do, I'm gonna start pulling in the viewers. Let's just get started, and then we can think about what we're doing. Yo, what's up, Andro?
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah. How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good.
Love the
Are
show,
you or
by the way.
Asmon gonna play Demon
Big
Souls
fan.
Spogu?
Thank you.
So I just have one question. I wanted to know what the next big move was for the actual show, Allcraft.
Well, we have a number of things. You know, we want to make sure that we have like an audio format for the show. I think that's really important. And so Rich and I have been talking about that. And then maybe trying to get some sponsors for the show lined up. That way we can, you know, just monetize it and do other things like that. In terms of actual like viewer stuff, I think that doing the viewer call-ins is probably a really good system that we've had. And I really like the way that's going. And I think once like Shadowlands comes out and we have like more content to like both talk about and also do with the viewers that's relevant, it'll be a lot more fun.
Yeah,
I like the after show a lot. I think it's real.
I think more tournaments too. I think like that's like one of the goals down the line as well. I was really, I think we were all like pretty stoked about how the last tournament went. And to be able to use Allcraft as a way to allow more people to be included with that. I want to do a pet battle tournament at our BlizzCon because I want to run a Texas BlizzCon and I want to do a pet battle tournament at it, for example.
What if we did a Texas BlizzCon and everybody from the BlizzCon got coronavirus?
Asmon looks
From
so
our
much more
BlizzCon?
relaxed on your screen,
Yeah.
just chilling.
That would be
Love
sick,
you,
dude.
dudes.
But it's going to be the
Thanks
people that
for
we're
giving
hanging out with
face a
anyway,
please
right? Could you...
forget about the world for a bit.
Sure.
Could you imagine if like Chance, NMP, Fandy, you, SFAM, me all got coronavirus?
That'd be pretty fucking funny.
It wouldn't be that funny. It'd be a little bit funny though.
It'd be funny after everybody recovered, like 3 years later.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But yeah, we definitely have a lot of stuff in store, and I feel like we're kind of in the spot right now where we have our footing again, because like it's just getting back, and we're getting in the swing of things. So I think a lot of that stuff will be happening pretty soon, because I think we're kind of in the spot right now where we can take some time to do some of that stuff, because there's really nothing going on in the game.
Yeah, I think audio, like maybe like a podcast, or if you got on like Spotify for like the main show or something, that'd be really cool. Because then people could, listen off when it's not on Twitch and stuff like that.
Yeah, and the YouTube's all up and running now too. So the YouTube video will go live pretty much as quick as it can upload to YouTube. So it'll probably be like 2 hours, I would guess, after the actual stream is done. And it's going to go up tomorrow this time, because I already had to do an upload today. But every other time it's going to go live on Friday, right after the episode, probably 2 hours after.
Mm-hmm.
Copying Asmon and everything.
Awesome.
Yeah. Bald, consistently uploading to YouTube and playing WoW. What could go wrong?
I think I need to go brush my teeth. They put so much of the food coloring in this donuts. I smiled the other day in the mirror, and I genuinely freaked out because I thought my mouth was bleeding. And it was actually just fucking food coloring. I'll be right back.
Dude, I thought that you had gums all the way down to the bottom of your teeth.
No,
I was like, what the fuck?
It's a food coloring in this donut, man. I'll be right back.
Oh, man.
Speaking of teeth, Rich, how are your teeth now?
Oh, because the whole break thing?
Yeah.
So I actually I went to the dentist, and it was kind of a wild experience. It ended with the lady at the front desk actually giving me a face massage, which I thought was a unique experience. But
that's pretty kinky, dude.
According to their Google reviews, it happens to just about everyone. But yes, I did get a facial at the dentist, and also they gave me this free $200 toothbrush if I will also write a 5-star review. It was a happy ending, to say the least. And it was a very, very good payoff. It was decent bribery. Dude, I got the Sonicare Philips toothbrush. All I had to do was write a 5-star review. But I went in, and my tooth is still broken. I'm actually getting it fixed on next Wednesday before Allcraft. All the mouth pain that I've had is apparently because I'm too stressed from playing too many video games, and I'm grinding my teeth. So I have to wear a bite guard at night now. I've been wearing it for 2 days, and it also it's cut down on the pain, and I don't think I have a gag reflex anymore.
Well, that's helpful in some respects, I guess.
Yeah, I can think of a few.
Get more down there.
Yeah, but everything's pretty good now. I mean, like it was weird for a while because I didn't know what was going on, and I kind of assumed I had an infection, but I'm good to go.
Good, man. Well, I'm glad to hear it. And when Asmon gets back, let him know that I appreciate his content and yours as well. And keep it up.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
When he gets back, I'm going to tell him that you said that he sucks and that he's bald.
Well, he did get beat. Did you see he got beaten by a girl in his trans...
I don't know why everybody's making it such a big deal that he got beat by a girl. He got beat fair and square. I get carried by girls and dudes on stream all the time. He got beat. It could have been anyone. But yeah, no, it was funny to watch, man.
Yeah, man. You need to get on your mount game as well. I've seen you
Yeah, that's fair. What do I have right now? 270.
Damn.
How bad is that?
It's pretty bad, but at least you're starting somewhere, which is, you know.
I started. I have a route. I have a route that I now do, and eventually one of them will give me amounts. Only 350 to go. Yeah, I'll catch up. When I get to 350, I feel like I'll be happy. Yo, Asmon. Andrew was just saying that you smell like farts, dude, and he wanted me to tell you that you smell like farts.
Yeah, that's pretty true.
Yeah, I've heard you smell like farts. Yo, Asmon, keep up with the mount farming, bro. You're gonna get there. You're gonna beat the girl one day.
Thanks, man. I got really high hopes. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Anyway, I'll let you guys crack on. Thanks for having me.
Dude, thank you, Andrew.
Have a good
Yeah,
night.
thanks for coming on, man.
Cheers.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, dude. Yeah, dude, I was just telling Andrew how I got a facial at the dentist. It's pretty wild. I actually, we've been hiding from the dentist for such a long time.
I sure have.
Yeah, I kind of like it now. I'm excited to go back. I can't wait to see what happens on visit number 2. What's up, Miles?
Hello?
How you doing?
What up, dude?
Sorry, let me mute the stream.
No problem.
All right, is it good?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can hear
you're
you. Can hear you well.
Yeah, I can hear you great. Okay, so what I have to say is more of like a comment, and I want to preface this by saying I'm being absolutely serious. Like, I'm not trying to fuck with you. Asmongold, this is mainly directed towards.
Uh-oh.
No, it's not too serious. So, it's in regards to your hair, and that's why I wanted to say I'm trying to be serious here. So,
All right.
I myself, I'm almost 20, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna go bald. I haven't lost any hair yet, but my dad is bald, so I'm like, I just want to make it clear, like, I stand in solidarity with you, but there's an issue here, and I think that it gets lost when it seems like everyone's trolling you when they bring up your hair.
Yes.
But I just want to point out the juxtaposition between the extremely long hair that you have now and the bare scalp. Like, I want to see you looking your best, pause, and I honestly feel like sometimes sometimes it would be easy to double down on just not cutting your hair because everyone's trolling you about it. And I think naturally your hair is kind of thin, right? Is that correct? It's always been thin?
I have very thin hair, yes.
It ends up looking bad, and I think it would be a lot better if he kind of cut it short. And that's why when I saw you do it, Rich, I thought that was kind of brave and impressive. And so that's basically what I want to say is, Asmongold, I don't think that you should think everyone is trying to fuck with you when they say shave head in all caps, you know, like, sometimes people just want to see you looking fresh. And I actually have noticed what was it, Rich said the other Allcraft after show, you're like, oh, you've been looking good. It's true. It's true.
If I shave my head, I will look like shit because I'm too skinny.
I'm skinny too.
You just not eat a lot? Is that what
No.
it is?
Yeah,
honest question.
I don't really eat a lot, no.
Asmon has a naturally absurd metabolism too.
Because I'm also really skinny. I mean, and I'm also kind of the same build as you. Like, I'm 6'3", and I'm really skinny. Like, only recently I've been trying to put on weight. I'm not quite as skinny as you, to be honest, but I was like sub 160, which for our height, you know, that's
still bad.
That is very light. Anyways, that's all I wanted to say. I'm gonna dip. And thanks for letting me in.
Yeah.
I appreciate the input. We'll see what happens.
And good luck with your hair as well, brother.
Yeah.
Peace.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's not really gonna work, man.
I'm brave.
Well, the thing is, like, for you, like, your hair isn't as bad.
Hey, you guys play Fortnite?
Is that Cloaksy?
Do you guys play
Oh my
Fortnite?
god, I was like,
Fuck no, we don't play Fortnite.
I was like, we've been breached.
You guys know Ninja?
Do you?
Can you read my credit card?
Okay, dude.
Do you want to get with it?
Okay. Okay. We like Fortnite. We like Fortnite.
Clanking 90s with the boys, Poggos.
Okay.
That's great.
Dude, I was so scared. I switched to the Discord so quick to kick that person out of the ground. I was like, oh no, it's just
Yeah, how'd he
Cloaksy
get in
popping
here,
off.
dude?
Yeah, it's just Cloaksy
Yeah.
popping off. Yeah. What were you saying about my hair?
Your hairline's a lot better than mine. So, it's not a surprise that, you know, you wouldn't be as worried about shaving your hair.
I was scared. Well, but also like everybody was like, bick it all the way, bick it all the way. I was like, I'm not doing that because I don't want to take the risk of actually like damaging the hair follicles,
I'm
right?
gonna do 4 mythic dungeons. You want to do the weekly? You get a Nilotha box, and I get transmog.
Yeah, I'll do my I'll get on my shitty lock to do that.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, look, you know what I've realized with the whole hair thing?
What?
It really doesn't fucking matter at all. No matter what you do, you look pretty much the same. If anybody wants to make fun of you for it, who gives a fuck? Like I used to care a lot about how I looked, and I think shaving my head, I've realized that if you really like, you shouldn't care about how you look. You should just stream more.
Yeah. I mean, in my opinion, I think that I look probably a little bit better with long hair. I know that might be a unpopular opinion, but I think I do. Or longer hair. I don't know. What do people think?
I actually think you probably look fine with anything. I think that your hair is probably too long right now, but it's also
it's probably a little bit too long right now. But it needs to be trimmed and at least like kind of cut in like the right way.
Well, it's because you don't have a haircut right now. You just have hair, which is like that. I mean,
that's pretty much it.
That's what my hair looked bad because I hadn't had a haircut in a while. I just had hair as well because of what's it called? Healer on Alliance.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, we got one.
Yeah, no, the thing is it's like it's the middle of a pandemic. People don't have haircuts right now.
Yeah.
So it's Asmon 5 year ago hair was Pog. It's 5 years ago. Like I don't know, shit happens.
It sure does.
And it's like I don't know. I think the whole bald thing too. Like it's literally just a meme. It's not even noticeable in the real world. Like I actually mean that. It's just a bunch. Like I don't know why it's a meme. Did your stream start the meme?
So one time, one guy donated $1, and he said bald, and that's how it started. Yeah, he donated $1, and ever since then I've been bald.
Was the $1 worth it?
It wasn't even $1. I only got 66 cents because of the PayPal transaction fee.
Was it worth it?
It's content. It's content. I'm gonna give the people what they want.
All right. Speaking of the people, what's up, Gimli?
Hey, how's it going, man?
I like your name.
What's your question, man?
All right. So with Shadowlands and the level squish, I was kind of wondering what your opinion would be on them going with an ESO approach with gear. So kind of making it so with each expansion, the levels would just go up, or on gear, the stats would go up, say like 1 per expansion. So then you could be fishing for tier sets for every expansion, making all raids still relevant.
Well, don't you feel like there would still just be kind of like a best, and like nobody would do any of the other ones that were before then?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, with all the old tier sets, there's bound to be so many different metas combinations, you know.
I played a lot of ESO for a sane human being, and I liked a lot of things in ESO. I think the gearing system was probably one of the weakest, personally. I don't necessarily think that it should be a model for how stuff should be geared.
I think like the thing is that they have trouble balancing 2 raid tiers with each other. I don't want to see them attempt to do every raid tier.
That is
like,
true.
I think that a lot of games, like ESO, for example, one advantage they have is the fact that very few people play them, and because very few people play them, it makes it to where you don't need to worry as much about like a meta developing because you don't have that many people like together that are developing that meta. Which is, I think that's a big part of it, personally.
Yeah, that was really all I had. So appreciate it.
Okay, yeah.
Guys.
Thank you. Yeah, I do want to see them do other types of things like that and make other types of gear relevant. But I do think that gear relevance should be exclusive to each expansion. In terms of like overall items, like maybe a couple of things. I liked how in BC there were like a couple items you could still use from vanilla, but that was about it.
I think bringing legendaries back would be kind of interesting just to see how it played
Yeah.
out. But
I definitely agree with that.
Yo, thank you. Fun. All right, I'm gonna pee really quick.
Okay.
I'm gonna make your face really big.
Hmm.
Be right back.
My entire master plan is to use this stream to create groups to have people funnel me transmog gear. That's why I'm here. This is my brilliant plan. Don't pull this boss. Rich can get something that can drop for me, man. Don't pull this boss, bro. Save it. Save it. I need this boss. He needs to give me something. It's an offhand. I need an offhand. It's a caster offhand. I need this one. You know what I'm thinking about? If I get all the dungeon gear now, I'm not going to have any content for the stream next expansion. I'm going to get the Mail Muncher next time for sure.
Hello?
What up, dude? How you doing?
Good, dude.
You zone in?
Yeah, well, right now.
And some of these pieces of gear, man, I'm so sick of this shit. Like, I need to do more of these rares. Yeah, I need to do more of these rares, man. Alright, ready? Let's go.
Yeah.
Alright, hopefully we get the offhand from this boss. Bro, dude, do you need that?
I do need it for transmog.
Wait, you can unlock this? What the fuck? Since when can you unlock this?
There we go. How you doing, Xander?
Pretty good. How about you guys?
Good.
Alright, man. So what's up?
Nothing much. It's a little surreal right now. Didn't think I would get pulled in, but it seems to be the common term with anyone that gets pulled in.
Yeah, something like that.
So I was kind of curious about, given how Shadowlands is going to be progressing without having these consistent scaling systems, about increasing the dungeon length for that.
The dungeon length? Well, they're not going to do that because of the NDI.
Wait.
Like,
Change the length of the dungeons?
Yeah, because, I mean, I don't know. To me personally, I feel like, I guess how mythics and stuff work now, they feel, I don't know, a little short in terms of the overall scaling. So I would say, like, I don't know, if they were to, like, increase the scaling to the size of something like Ulduar to be, like, a regular 5-man instance with that many bosses and stuff. Like, in the sense that, yes, gear is going to be, I guess, there's more opportunities for it, but it wouldn't be the sense that we're getting, you know, the dailies and stuff where we're picking up 50 pieces of gear before we enter, and the 2 or 3 that we get when we leave.
So just like more time invested is what you're kind of like getting at.
Pretty much. I mean, that's the one thing that I feel like if they're gonna start catering more towards working on your character, why not increase the length in which you spend time in a dungeon? I mean, in 2 aspects. I mean, one, our development team does a great job on putting scenery in games, but the second, and in that sense, would also be that if you're in a dungeon, that's pretty much the thing that you're doing before you go into raiding. So why not make it so that in of itself is going to be somewhat of a challenge outside of the whole Mythic Plus scaling system. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, like, it would be cool if they had like more longer and involved dungeons, and I think that they kind of did do that to a lesser extent with the like Mechagon and things like that. I like that a lot, but I'd like to see that more so become the norm. I think the dungeons should be more of like an involved process rather than just basically a loot corridor. And yeah.
And I mean, I don't know. I feel like, given that they want to bring back community, I honestly think that one move they should possibly consider would be taking out the dungeon finder system at the expense of potentially losing subs. Like, it would be a hard hit, but I would say in that sense, putting servers back to where you're on Area 51 or whatever server you come from, that's your server, that's your community. They can even say, for the next 2 or 3 months, we're going to allow, servers to, server transfers to go to these places for free. And here are the list of servers that are going to be taken down in, this many months.
So like an apocalypse for certain servers?
Pretty much. Like cull the amount of servers that they have, reestablish that there's community, there's going to be more emphasis on community. The game isn't going to be easier, it's going to be harder because you have to utilize your trade chat again, and start focusing on building a community within a guild, things like that.
I'd love to see more things like that. I don't think they're really going to ever get rid of the dungeon finder, but I think that the way they have mythic dungeons now that are not queuable is great, and heroic dungeons are just really a waste of time, let's be real. So like all of the meaningful like dungeon content isn't really queuable, and I think that's a good thing. Besides that, I don't really think that they should necessarily end the servers, but I do think they're doing players a disservice by not combining them. And that is basically like one of the big problems that I think they have right now, is that there's nobody else playing on these other servers, and they're nearly dead. And it creates an experience for a lot of people playing the game that's really just not enjoyable. And I mean, it's like very isolating.
I mean, even now though, I mean that you're on what, Kill Jaden, right? For your main?
I'm on Kel'Thuzad.
Kel'Thuzad, sorry. For that, I mean, even being in a capital city, the moment you fly out of it, you're with no one, right? You don't see another person. And I mean, I get it. You're like, you guys are, streamers, but realistically, like, the average player wouldn't see that. The moment they go out of that city, there's no one there. They're pretty much playing a single player experience unless they're queued up.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I mean, I don't know. I feel like in that sense, why not take the hit and just say like, yeah, we want to put. We understand we're going to lose people over this, but we'd rather lose people and maintain a certain level of integrity of what the game was or it should be, and focus back on what made WoW a great game to begin with.
I think they just need to make sure that more dungeons are just like not really directly queuable, like the same as how King's Rest was like an actual like mythic level dungeons. But the problem also is that the mythic level dungeon on a base level is too easy. Blizzard's never really brought out a dungeon that was a challenge to players whenever it was released. I think one exception to that maybe you could go with would be like the Nightbane one, the Return to Karazhan. Nightbane was actually pretty challenging to do, and
yeah,
I like
that had to integrate several different quest lines. So I think they did it for that reason as well, wasn't it? More of like a benchmark to completing a quest, like several quests that you had in there.
Not necessarily. I guess like yeah, you had it was basically just a hard mode for the Karazhan thing. That was really all there was to it. I mean, some other examples, like people in chat are saying like Cathedral and Legion. The Cathedral was a joke in Legion. Like you just blew it over. The only time it was hard was in high level Mythic Plus, which is kind of the point that I'm making, is that everything outside of high level Mythic Plus is really, really easy. And I think that's really the issue. Mechagon Day 1, I also thought was pretty easy, but I could see how other people might disagree with that. But I'd like to see them put out a dungeon that like its base level is challenging to Mythic level raiders. I think that would be really cool. Because like if they did that, I feel like it would actually add like a degree of kind of where like it's easily accessible to do like a Mythic level dungeon because you only need 4 people. But at the same time, it's also challenging because of how hard it is, and the content itself is difficult. So I'd love to see something like that.
I mean,
That makes sense.
I like the Mechagon hard mode though. Like I think adding things like that in the game are really good.
Oh yeah, I agree. I'd just like to see a dungeon that was hard mode. Like the dungeon itself was hard mode.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, that was pretty much like the biggest kind of I think gripe I've had with I think WoW for a while was just I guess wanting to make the game more like accessible or not accessible, more challenging, but I guess with more opportunities to do stuff. And I feel like the whole thing with catch-up mechanisms that they have now are pretty bad because like you guys were talking about, a lot of the stuff is time gated, so even if you want to catch up, you really can't. But at a certain level, like if I'm not doing well, I want to know that I'm not doing well. You know what I mean? Like if I'm behind, I want to know that I'm working towards something rather than just suddenly either getting, injected with, massive amounts of gear and then not really knowing what to do with my class or any additional steps from there. Or, I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's so many things wrong with WoW right now, even with Shadowlands coming out, that I think they still need to take more time to kind of work on, I guess, fixing what core values are wrong with the game.
The core values are definitely the problem. I think that you're completely right. And I don't really know exactly like what they can do to make that not the case. But I feel like that's been a really big point of contention with a lot of players, is that they simply just don't really feel good playing it. And at the end of the day, I think that really does matter a lot, more so than a lot of people might lead on. And I'm not really sure exactly what to do about that or like what the solution is, but I do think that it does need to be solved.
Yeah, because I mean, I think like I don't know how like they just didn't pick up on like when people are more interested in doing like the pseudo content of Legion and everything before that, and they're like, oh, no one's playing the main part of the expansion. So it's like, yeah, you guys pretty much turned your MMO into a COD, a COD game where it's like you play, like you said before, you play the patches of the expansion, you don't play the expansion as a whole. So it kind of defeats the purpose of wanting to put in work into it.
I think that's really the problem, is that like the entire game is built around repeating the exact same content over and over and over. And that's where I think a lot of people kind of lose their enjoyment of the game. So like, for example, you have things like, I think probably the best example is obviously 4 raid difficulties, where you're just doing the same raid over and over. Like there's, again, like no real reason to do something like Battle Desire Lore or even Crucible of Storms. So you have content like Crucible of Storms and Desire Lore that are rewarding gear and items that are, worse than what their challenge is. So then nobody does them. It's kind of the same issue that happened with Old War hard modes. The only reason why people did Old War hard modes, like whenever ICC was out, was to get a higher chance at Fragments of Valinor. And other than that, there was no other reason to do them. So I'd like to see them go back to making like raids progressive rather than recursive and repetitive. And I feel like that's basically what we've gotten for the past few years.
I mean, that makes sense. But like you said, it comes down to more of we're not playing through the entire game. It's sections of it. So stuff becomes irrelevant immediately the moment something else comes out, like a new piece of content comes out. And I think that's the worst part of it. I also I think it was during the Battle Desire Lore patch that I actually stopped playing because when Uldir was out, I was playing actively, but slowly, one by one, my friends started dropping off, and then it got to a point where, I'm pretty decently geared, and I'm like, oh, cool, like I made this progression, I kind of put this work in. And I think not even 15 minutes of them coming back, they're like, yeah, like I'm already fully geared. I was like, I literally wasted my fucking time playing this if that's the case. Like, there's no point in me doing anything if that's the case.
Yeah, there's a serious amount of kind of pointlessness involved whenever you know that you're going to have some people that just get way better gear than you because they they just play the game different or a different time.
The catch-ups are just they make no sense, right? Like you have a new patch that comes out and all of your gear is just instantly deleted, but then you can't catch up on like your cloak
because there's like these secondary systems that are like really badly designed. So it's like you're catching up on systems that are boring, and you're being caught up on systems that you don't want to be caught up on. You're losing out on raid content, but you have to keep doing dailies. It's actually like basically like the worst case scenario.
That's why watching you guys play Classic, it's like it's a cool thing to see because it's like you get an item, you're gonna hold on to that item. You're like you were talking about before. You're still doing MC. And you guys are able to do other pieces of content and still maintain that piece of gear, saying like, yeah, like this is actually relevant, like all the way up until BC. And that was trippy to me because like the first time I heard about that, I was like, that doesn't make any sense. And you're like, no, like some of this stuff is still best.
Did you play Vanilla WoW or?
I played Vanilla WoW. Well, not even Vanilla. It was the first time I actually started getting into WoW. It was the pre-patch into Wrath.
Okay.
And I was sharing my older brother's account at the time, so I was kind of just running around, not really like knowing what was going on.
Yeah.
And then when Wrath of the Lich King started, I started off as a PvPer playing Warlock.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's a good way to start. I mean, for sure. I feel like the problem to me is that a lot of the content, it's like back in Wrath, for example. I think Wrath was like where this actually began to be an issue, but you still had a few reasons to go back. Like Ulduar, you'd go back and do Ulduar for the legendary mace, and that was really the only reason you'd go back and do it. And like some groups would do it for Memron Ted, but that was still like Zero White back then was still hard, even with ICC gear. So you didn't really see a whole lot of people doing that. And then you'd see people doing TOGC for the Death's Verdict. And a few other things, but really it was just ICC 4 times a week. ICC normal, ICC heroic, ICC 25-man heroic, ICC fucking like 10-man heroic. It was crazy.
Yeah, I think though that there were some things that kept you playing that were good though, right? Like when you talk about Valnir, I felt like Valnir was one of those things that wasn't bad. And
well, that's because Valnir.
Go ahead.
Valnir was a guild accomplishment.
Yeah.
Valnir was an actual legendary.
It
was pretty good to get. I mean, realistically, Valnir was not very hard to get. Like if you had somebody, for example, that started farming Valnir at the start of ICC, or start of Ulduar, and like they just clear 25-man normal every week, they would be able to get Valnir before ICC even came out. Like I feel like a lot of our opinions of the game are they're so situational with the time that we played the game, because whenever I go back and I look at like the actual challenge presented by like something like Yogg Zero or Valony or anything like that, this content's extremely easy. It's extremely easy content. Like Valonir actually wasn't really much of a challenge. Like you could literally kill Flame Leviathan every week and you would get Valonir. That's it. Because the chances of dropping the fragments.
Well, wasn't it more of like you guys were talking about it, like it was more hardware, like setbacks and actual player performance are more. It was more hardware because
people were not very good at the game. Right? Too. People were just not very good at the game. I think that's a big reason. Like you see some people that are very bad at Classic, but the good guilds are able to clear it very, very easily. And I think that also, just because people know much more about games now, and they're like just better at playing them. I don't know if we'll ever see something that's going to hold the same prestige as Thunder Fury or, especially something like ATS.
Well, no, because legendaries now aren't something to aspire to get or work towards. It's a requirement to raid and stuff, like you guys were talking about before. So yeah, I don't think there's ever gonna be anything like that, with the exception of maybe like a dope ass cosmetic from like mage towers and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there is a place in the game for some of the more modern legendaries. Like, I don't think it's bad to have a secondary progression item if it's account wide. For example, I think that Legion legendaries, that style of gearing is actually interesting. There are rewards that you want to have. They allow you to make interesting decisions on how you want to play different aspects of the game. But I think having some of these actually big achievements that you get as a guild, having them in the game was so positive in so many different aspects, and they kept people in the raid. Like, raiding does not feel like raiding anymore. And I love raiding. Like, raiding was the reason I played the game for quite a few different patches. And when I go into raid right now, it feels like a joke. And I swear some of the lower difficulties are the thing that makes it feel like a joke. Like, even when you're in on Mythic, like, it just feels like it's neutered. I don't know how else to say it besides raids feel completely neutered.
But I mean, like Classic has the same thing, isn't it?
I still feel like I'm raiding in Classic, though. It's not necessarily hard, and I can agree with I can agree with like that idea that Classic is easier, right? Because nobody's gonna disagree that Classic raids aren't easier, but it feels special. It feels like a thing that you're gonna do once a week.
Yeah, it does feel special. That's a good way to look at it.
To what point then do you want the difficulty to scale up? I mean, WoW difficulty right now isn't like, it's not hard. Like that's true. But I mean, like what we talking about, like something like Dark Souls difficulty, where it's going to take you 30, 40 plus wipes to figure out timing and mechanics, or are we talking about like adding one or two more mechanics to like the N'Zoth fight, where each player has something that they have to work on individually?
In my opinion, like, what would I want to see? Probably, like, what time in the game? I'd say somewhere between Wrath of the Lich King and Cataclysm. I think that a lot of the Cataclysm raids would actually stand up pretty well to today's standards.
So not quite Firelands difficulty, or a little harder than that?
Well, Heroic Ragnaros, like, for example, did you frog on Heroic Ragnaros?
Nope, I got mad and quit WoW at that point.
Really good decision. Really, really, really good decision. Heroic Ragnaros was basically a mythic boss. He was like everybody you would do. There were 4 difficulties of Firelands. There was like the normal mode difficulty, or 3 difficulties. There's normal mode, heroic mode difficulty, and Heroic Ragnaros. Like, that's how big of a difference it was. There would be guilds that would be basically, 2 6 out of 7 guilds, and one would be in the top world 50, and the other one would be in the top world 500. And they'd be working on the same boss. And I like that in a way. I thought that was really cool, but it's also not something that I would really want to see replicated. And a lot of the Firelands bosses, like Heroic Ragnaros, was really hard because it was a long fight. It was a 20-minute fight. And I don't want to see something like that in the game again, even though fights like that are very like thematic and badass. I just don't really want to see that again. And well, let me think. I think Alisrazor was probably one of the best non-end bosses that's been ever made.
Dude, that whole raid is good.
Rylith, I don't really like Rylith. But...
Yeah, but you look at Rylith and you go, even if I don't like Rylith, the fact that they made a boss like that, good work.
I was the driver for Rylith.
Like, dude, Rylith was an annoying fight in a lot of ways, but it was unique and people will remember it forever, right? And like having those annoyances every now and then, but the developers actually taking a risk, like I give them credit when they take risks sometimes.
I guess I liked, so I actually didn't really think, I didn't like Balrog a lot. I thought Balrog was a shitty fight.
That's the spider, right?
No, that's Bethelak.
Wait, who's Balrog, the Balrog.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't like him, and I didn't like. I thought Major Domo was a bad boss. Even though I thought it was interesting the way that you dealt with it, I just thought it was a bad boss. I didn't really like it a whole lot, but I thought Bethelak, I guess Rylith, and Shannox sucked too.
Shannox was cool though.
The problem is Shannox was so undertuned compared to the other bosses in the raid that you were able to just overpower him.
Was it the only way you would fuck up is if you killed one of the dogs first and he would enrage, right? You would have to kill him like almost all at the same time.
I think that I don't remember exactly how we did Mythic Shannox or Heroic Shannox because I remember we just did it on the first day and that was about it.
Yeah, I only saw I only watched videos of it at that point, but yeah, was never. I didn't live the Kata experience where it was supposed to be like the golden year of PvP, from what I've been told.
Cataclysm and Wrath were really good. I thought Mists of Pandaria was a little bit bloated.
A lot of people are like when you have that conversation of how far should classic servers go. There are so many people that go like, I want a Cataclysm classic server, and that always blew me away because I didn't PvP nearly as much during Kata. Like Wrath was when I was PvPing like all day long. Like that was really when I was PvPing a lot. And then Kata, like I said, that was when I kind of took that natural break because of life. I feel like a lot of people want those servers. The first time that people really started talking about it was when we had Soda popping on Allcraft like forever ago, right after BlizzCon.
If they want to kill that trend, all they got to do is do Draenor Classic right there. Just end.
Yeah, I think that's the clear stop. I actually would do one thing though, once a day on WoD Classic servers. I've said it a million times. I would get on, I would log on to a Demonology Warlock, and I would just hit a fucking target. Demonology Warlock and WoD, I wish that spec was back in the game. It was so good.
They gutted them so bad.
Oh, they wrecked it by the end of WoD, but WoD had some good class design. Like it was coming off the back of Mists of Pandaria. Like it'd be hard to have completely bad class design.
Alrighty, boys. That's all the questions I got for now. Pretty sure other people want to get in.
Thank you.
Honor to meet both of you.
Yeah, thanks.
Love both of your guys' work. You guys take it easy, and like you guys always say, never stop going big dick.
I won't. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Peace.
I don't say that.
It's okay.
Just you.
We can't all be perfect.
What's up, Cinder?
Hey, what's up? How's it going, guys?
How you doing?
I love you guys' streams.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My question is, do you think that Shadowlands is going to introduce any new like PvP modes, like Battlegrounds or anything like that? I mean, don't you think something needs to happen in that?
Like a new Battleground?
Yeah, or a new mode or something.
I think they need to do something to make PvP more interesting. Yeah, I think that right now it's kind of just, it is what it is, and that's about it.
You know what's actually good though right now?
What?
Getting Echoes of Nihilith out of BGs feels really good.
I haven't got that many.
You don't get that many. I would be fine if it gave you more, and PvP vendors are coming back. So the thing is like, I actually do feel like there are reasons to play Battlegrounds again, which there haven't been reasons to play Battlegrounds in such a long time, right?
Well, when was the last time you did a BG?
You're not asking me, right? You're asking Cinder?
No, I'm asking you.
Oh, me? Well, I did Battlegrounds during my breaks while I was like... It was actually like perfect content during a break while I was casting AWC. So I do Battlegrounds during all my breaks.
You're doing them like now?
Yeah, I actually do them now.
Man, I'm sorry, dude. Like, BGs are fucking dog shit now.
We're in one right now.
I know. That's how I know they're dog shit. Like, we haven't even started in their dog shit. I'm fully aware, dude.
And we played BGs together last week, too. We played BGs together all the time.
It's because there's no dampening in BGs. Nobody fucking dies.
Yeah.
It's so bad, dude.
The other night when you when you, me and S-Man were, I don't know if you remember, when you, me and S-Man were hanging out in Discord, and you were like casting yourself in the BG, and you were like, oh, he's not dying. I'm doing more damage. He's not dying. I totally understand. I do understand. And something that you said that was actually really true that I disagreed with initially. One time we were discussing which battlegrounds we like the best.
Yeah, Rafi Basin.
And I was like, AB is one of the best battlegrounds to ever exist. And I still do think that AB is one of the best battlegrounds to ever exist. But when you look at how the game changed and how that's how that actually affects how the battleground plays out today, I think that is an important thing to keep in mind. And I think that, Cinder, that's why what you're saying is important as well. Because if we want battlegrounds to be fun, enjoyable content, do we need to make battlegrounds that actually take current class design into account, the way that people play the game, the way that people are grouping for the game, and also should that change what the actual playlist is for which battlegrounds you're going into?
Well, they have those epic battlegrounds now. What do you guys think about those? Like Wintergrass, they made one in Ashran.
I heard that Alliance always lose. I've literally never queued for one.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't want to fucking queue and lose. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like...
Is there anything that they can do with that, you think, at all?
I think they just need to add them. I don't think there should be a separate queue. I think that you should have to, like, it should just be random for all of them. I don't like the Epic Battleground distinction. I don't think it's good for the game.
Yeah, I just think that some of them don't really feel good to play, though, right? Like...
Which ones don't feel good to play?
Well, like Wintergrass, you know you're going to be in there for at least 45 minutes to an hour minimum.
Yeah, Wintergrass, I think I've only done it once on the playlist. Here, wait, I'm looking at the playlist right now. So I started spamming Battlegrounds when I first came back because of the Hunter. And I wanted to get Blood of the Enemy. So that was why I was playing them. And then I could also get Echoes without... like paying attention, really, you know.
Yes.
Are you really trying to 1v1 me, you stupid fucking bitch, dude? Motherfucking Demon Hunter, dude. Sorry. Little asshole just decided he wants to.
Doesn't know he's messing with you.
Fucking, I'm a warlock, dude. I can't die. Like, why are you even trying? All me. I 1v1'd him. Let's see. Random epic battlegrounds. Does it say what's on the list? If I look? Oh, it doesn't even say what's on the list, does it? Specific battlegrounds.
Well, I mean, it's obviously like Ashran, Isle of Conquest, AV. Yeah, those three.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good 1v1, guys. Thank you for all the support. So... yeah, Ashran, I really don't like, still. I feel like the epic... playlist just kind of sucks. It's just dated.
I think AV is good, and I think Isle of Conquest is good. I think both of those are fine.
You like Isle of Conquest?
I actually think it's one of the best BGs.
I think that there are like a lot of things that can be good with it, but queuing it randomly, I feel like I don't know.
Well, Alliance actually wins that one sometimes too.
Well, there's a lot of like different win conditions with Isle of Conquest, and that's what I kind of like about it. And also, I think it's a much better. Look at this druid. Like, he has 200,000 health. He's just like not dying. Like, Jesus Christ. Anyway, so yeah, I feel like a lot of the Isle of Conquest, like all of the win conditions are really interesting, and I also like how no matter which base you take, you just kind of have to play around that base. And so there can be like a different win condition for each different team. And I feel like that's interesting. And it makes like the games different.
Yeah,
I've actually, and like the thing with Isle of Conquest is that some of the cannons, like in a lot of the other like metas for Isle of Conquest gearing, or sorry, like playing, have just been kind of like outscaled. Like a lot of the vehicle content in Isle of Conquest is like, it doesn't really scale very well. So like the vehicle content is like scaled to like the beginning of the expansion with like that level of like kind of damage, and then people just outscale it with like their damage. and so you don't even want to use the vehicles for anything except for like actually doing siege damage.
Yeah, that's a good point. I never thought of that.
Yeah, the one dungeon, the one BG I really think is the worst is actually the new Deepland Gorge. I just did it a few times so far, and it's actually been one of the saddest excuses of a battleground that I've ever seen.
Yeah, I don't know why they changed it. What was wrong with it before?
The reason why they changed it is because you were able to bring 2 Vengeance Demon Hunter tanks into RBGs, and you were able to complete it really fast. And you needed 2 Vengeance Demon Hunters, or you would just lose every single Deepland Gorge game. So instead of nerfing the mechanic,
Yeah.
they just decided to change the entire battleground.
Well, now it's
And
just
so-
basically Arathi Basin, really, right?
It's a Wrathy Basin, but it's worse because it
Right.
relies on players communicating. Like, because you can't see the other bases. So you just have to sit there and like hope and wait that like somebody else isn't going to cap a base. It's actually fucking terrible.
Yeah, I agree. I don't like it either.
I actually, on a hunter, the one node is actually so fun to camp because you can stand on the top and you can lay a trap in the only place that they can get up, and then you can lay like, oh dude, it's just so free as a hunter.
Yeah. Oh, at the quarry or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude, I
know.
can just camp the quarry by myself the entire time, and nobody will ever take the node. But I understand that doesn't make it good. I've actually kind of enjoyed it though. Wait, what are
Yeah, I was
these?
really disappointed to see them change it because I thought Deepland Gorge was actually like an original battleground. It was one of the only BGs that you could actually come back from. Most of the time, like one team can just like kind of. It was the only game where you could actually make the opposing team lose progress. And I thought that was really cool.
Well, I'm hoping they do something in the next expansion. I don't know what it is, but just something to change it up or something.
Yeah.
Dude, this horde is so bad.
Well, look at them. They're all targeting me, dude.
What? Oh, they know it's you.
Attack Asmon. No, every game is like this, dude. It's actually like the least fun in the world.
You're like the Brad Pitt of WoW, dude.
But doesn't that give your team a strategic advantage, though, a little bit?
Not really, because like the other team plays out of their mind whenever they play. Like this is a thing that we had a problem that we had in Classic, is like people don't want me on their ranking teams because the moment that I'm in the game, the other team will try harder. They'll like pop faps and like you just like chain potions and stuff just so they can say they beat Asmongold.
They popped the fap for Asmon. Dude,
Yeah,
I
it's
just
insane.
like I just solo capped like 3 fucking nodes while they were all just like wailing on you.
Good. I love it.
It's like actually free. And the other ones I didn't cap, they were all just standing there for no reason. They spent like 4 hours hitting me for no reason. These guys have the brains of children. But yeah, I actually think I actually really do think though that having battlegrounds is something that you want to play, that have meaningful rewards, is obviously very good for the game, because it used to be what you would do. Like you would actually just play the game for fun. And I feel like the amount of time that you actually talk about playing a game for fun, now, is way less.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than like a chore, right?
Yeah. I mean, you can fun lull all you want. I mean, when you actually look at how you play the game now, yeah, it does feel like you have so many chores that you need to do within a day. That's solo content. I don't mind doing chore-like things with other people, right? Like there are a lot of chore-like pieces of content in the past that you would do with other people. Like you would do dungeons, right? You would cap your valor, things like that. Were those systems perfect? No, but I actually felt like I was playing my character with other people. I felt like I was playing WoW.
It is great team content if you can like implement it right.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I used to love and the thing is too is like you would love when you got different battlegrounds because you wanted to play them. Like I used to love Eye of the Storm. I fucking love Eye of the Storm.
Well,
So-
now the way it works now is like really broken because there are so many knockbacks in the game that it's hard for you to really balance out and like plan things. So like now you can't really stop all the knockbacks or any of that stuff.
Yeah, it feels like that some of the homogenization that actually happened just caused a lot of those things that felt unique in places where knockbacks were valuable. Like, do you remember when people would be trying to get into raid at Nax, and you would have like that one elemental shaman with Thunderstorm, or that one moonkin with Typhoon, who would just knock people back all day, and then
You'd zone out and just knock them all out.
yeah, and it was hilarious. Like, dude, and those were awesome moments. And you were like, "Oh man, I want to play a Moonkin. That's hilarious. I want to play a Moonkin." And you would have like a lot of moments like that, and you don't really have them in the game as much anymore.
Yeah,
because everybody has those abilities.
But do you think the class unpruning is gonna maybe bring back some of those kind of fun moments?
The unpruning is like the most smoke and mirrors thing I think I've ever seen. Like the thing with the class pruning is like, oh, you got in a fight with your girlfriend, so you buy her some flowers. It's like, yeah, chicks like flowers, right? It's yeah, of course, WoW players like to have abilities. Should the unpruning be happening? Yes, just like, yeah, you should probably buy your girlfriend some flowers every now and then. But at the end of the day, it doesn't fix the underlying issues with class design. Like, yeah, I'm getting back like this random ability that like has situational use. It's like, what does my rotation actually feel like? What's my is there still homogenization? Are we still going to be in a situation where I'm not feeling like I'm getting adequate power gain? The unpruning's great, but I think it's a distraction from some of the bigger problems.
Yeah, I'd say I probably agree with that.
But will any of those, you think? I agree with that, but as far as PvP goes, I think some of those are strategy changers, right? You think?
How do you mean?
Well, I mean, if you're going against certain classes, you know you're not going to have to worry about maybe a hold or I can't think of an example. Like ice, like you're gonna like fire mages are gonna have some ice abilities, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you know, when a fire mage goes up, you know you have to plan for that as well, and where you didn't have to before.
Yeah. I mean, sure, of course.
Yeah, I mean, being able to cast when you're kicked out of a school is a big deal, but if you're casting air, like let's say that a fire mage has the ability to cast frost when they're kicked on fire. If you're doing nothing with that global, still, like, does it really matter? So yeah, like I don't disagree that there is a lot of potential for some of the different things to happen with the unpruning. I think that some of it, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying I think that it does distract from some of the bigger problems that exist. Because, yeah, it's great to be able to have all these different options, but if the foundation that your class is built on isn't strong, having some of the extra bells and whistles aren't going to solve that.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. The knockback thing is a funny example, though, with how Battlegrounds have really changed. Because it's huge. Like, which classes don't have knockbacks?
Well, it used to be all you did was worry about the shaman, knocking you out of the middle and Eye of the Storm. And now there's just so much more.
It was that, and then, Boomkins were scary because of Typhoon. But besides that, like now, you use Priest as an example. And Nax Rammus, when they would come outside, all they would do is they would MC you and run you off the side. But now they have Dome, right? Like, there's so many different knockbacks. Hunter has a knockback. Does DK have a knockback? DK doesn't, right?
DK does not have a knockback. Let's see. Priests have one, hunters have one, shamans have one, druids have one. Priests can also MC you off.
Monks have one.
Monks, yeah, but not really.
Rop counts.
What?
Rop is a knockback.
Hardly.
It just has. It's a better knockback in most situations. The only time I would say it's a slightly less strong knockback is in this particular example on the bridge for Eye of the Storm. I would say Rop has like much more use than most knockbacks. Ring of Peace is super fucking good. Prot Warrior, Prot Pally, they both have knockbacks.
Oh, dude, I forgot all about that.
Yeah, Succubus has a knockback.
Fucking dragon roar. Oh my god.
Warlocks, correct me if this is wrong, but warlocks have every single utility like that as long as they switch pets, right?
Warlocks have every utility in the game.
It's just the only time that they really can't use a lot of them is if they're playing a demonology warlock, right? Because you have to use the stun from axe toss because you need to use the fell guard, otherwise you're just like you don't work. So like you basically choose which one you want. Do you want to kick? Do you want to dispel? Like thank you Zizuko. Priest can have a talent for knockback. Yeah, they have dome. Queue up for another BG.
I'm about to go. I'm about to lay down. I have to take a nap. Dude. I'm fucking exhausted, dude.
Yeah,
I gotta go up.
You woke up early.
I'm gonna take off one real quick thing, Rich.
Yeah.
I think I messaged you this in your chat. My dad passed away about 6 years ago. 6 months. 6 weeks ago. Wow. 6 weeks ago, my dad passed away. And when you go through something like that, you don't know when you're gonna laugh again. And you were the first person to make me laugh again. And I love your streams, and I love how fun you've been.
Damn, dude. Thank you so much for that, and I'm really sorry to hear that.
Well, just to let you know that I appreciate you, brother, and appreciate you too, Asmon. You guys really bring a lot to this community in this game, so I appreciate you.
Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it, and I'm sorry about your dad.
All right, thanks. Peace.
Shit. I think we had some good questions today.
We did. People,
actual good questions. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. I always have fun when I don't actually have to play BFA. I just get to talk about it.
Yeah, I know. That's basically what happened.
Tuesday has been dark for me. Literally every Tuesday. Yesterday.
Yeah, it's the thing.
Wait, why? Wait, I said I was gonna change this sub goal. By the way, it's too low. I might get a tattoo of you on my body.
Oh, I hope not. All right, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna lay down for a little bit and just chill before I have to go eat with my dad, dude.
All right, dude.
I'll see you
later. Peace, dude.
Peace.